Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the crew. Whenever you're watching this, thank you for being here with us. Um, so much good out there, so much good to talk about. How are you, Dad?
Fantastic, beautiful weekend morning, sunny day. We had a big storm here yesterday, but yeah, it's a beautiful day. And like I like to say, it's my favorite hour of the week. How you doing, son?
So good. I had just an amazing my kind of life where I'm living is just really coming together. I have just such amazing friends. Um, the ones that I see, you know, day to day and week to week, and um, they just always remind me of the best parts of what I have to give, and I, just try to remind them about all the amazing stuff that they share with me. And man, I was up late thinking about that and the channel and the friends that we've made through here and the people that just inspire us. um I'm inspired by all of you. I'm in awe that we get to do this, and do it in this way. And when we got off the live chat last week, everybody, Dad and I talked for another hour or so, and it's just kind of that feeling of, okay, well, this this thing's all going pretty good. Everybody's got a good head on their shoulders about it. What are going to be the next opportunities for us? What's going to be the next kind of movement or wave or thing that we get into that with that? But also, what are we going to get into with ourselves to improve? And like you were just saying to me, Dad, you get to talk to people in the crew and hear their stories and get to know them. And whenever you ask somebody about what they'd really love to do, like their vision or their dream, um, it's amazing because we're a very giving group. We're There's a lot of people that want to share and help other people. And yeah, I woke up feeling lucky today, just
Yeah,
lucky, you know.
I do.
Sometimes lucky's better than good.
You're
Um,
way better.
but there's just a great freedom that I have right now, and I haven't felt that in a while.
Yeah,
I had to rewire. I had to, kind of spread the paint across the canvas again and really big picture. And yeah, I feel free. I feel rich already. I'm a
nice.
wealthy man, Dad. Hey, Shirley. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Shirley. That's our sweetheart. That's she's the one that's going to have the grand opening of her retreat in April in east of Dallas. In April.
Cool.
That's our Shirley girl. Yeah,
Nice.
very
Yeah,
cool.
I really want to try to make that, Shirley. That's
Well,
that
that'd be
kind of
fun.
stuff's that kind of stuff's what I want to do for the rest of my
Yeah,
life,
right.
is go to events like that you're putting on. So we're
Yeah.
gonna check that out.
One of the first things I ask everybody when we communicate with each other, when I get to talk with people in the crew, is first of all, after I figure out what their dogs and their kids' names are. But like, I really, I really get into like, what's your goal? What's your plan? Where do you see? And everyone's like, well, yeah, I'd like to sell this many XRP at $50. No, 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 no. What's your goal? What's your
Right.
dream? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? What if despite the wealth, like what do you want to do? Don't take wealth out of the equation. Take the math out. What do you want to do with your life?
Yeah.
And once they get it, they're like, Oh, wow. Okay. And then almost, I'm going to say 50% have no idea. Like, well, I know what I think I'm supposed to say right here, but I haven't really, God, I'm glad you brought it up, Alan. I get
Yeah.
about 50% of the people are in that boat.
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that boat. That just means your life's pretty good, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what it
You,
means.
you
So,
know, Dad, I was thinking about this very thing last night. Everybody in the chat, if you got an idea of what that is for yourself, what that looks like, what the real freedoms are in your life, the real wealth, the things that you want to do, throw it in here. We want to know who you are. Like that's the whole point of having community and friends and a place to come to. And yeah, we appreciate you being here on Sunday morning with us, and afternoon and evening as well.
yeah,
Um,
that's right. Yeah.
we got Muddy in, we got the professor, we got Messy, we got Power Section. Hello from Japan.
Power set. Love it.
Love
Nice.
it. Good to have you. Thank you for being here with us. Yo,
Yo, Muddy.
we
Evan
got my
Berg.
other brother's secret weapon. My other brother David. I was just talking about you to somebody, actually another crew member. I want to set you guys up together to talk in Vegas. That's another thing that we get to do with this, Dad. It's bringing everybody together, and there's going to be best friends in this chat that you don't even know, and I'm excited for y'all to meet each other. Becky, good morning to you. Wayne, good to have you in. We got Robert, we got Joanna, we got Desert Vibes in the house, we got the Jello Squeeze on board. Let's go, baby.
The Staple crew are in here.
Yes, the
Whoever those guys
Stapletons.
are. Robert Driscoll. Love it. We have a we when I talk to people, it's also kind of amazing how many people are actually, well, I don't come from money. Never really thought I'd have any. And now I really believe I will or might, but I'm starting to really believe I will, Alan. What do you think? And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's looking that way at this point, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
So what do you think of yourself now? And a lot of people are always giving me the same sort of, well, I don't know. I kind of got lucky. I'm like, no, you didn't get lucky. Hasn't been a lot the last few years. I would just say that I wouldn't use that term anymore. I would say you got smart and you got out ahead of the pack. That's really what you did well.
Mm-hmm.
But this almost to a person, everybody I talk to is either they're in one of a few categories. It's either I want to open up a clinic or a helping program of some kind.
Yeah.
Misguided youth, autistic children. I mean, like almost all of those. Many of them are a small farm, grow quality food to sell to my neighbors to support the farm. Or I heard one yesterday. It was kind of really cool story. He wants to do like kind of like not a dude ranch, but a ranch to where he can have people like disabled veterans out and different people, get them on horses, get them doing stuff out and moving cattle around and getting inner city kids out on horses and doing that kind of stuff. And he's a pretty young man. And I was like, well, you can do that. Like you're real close to being able to do that. So like it's one of those kind of categories. Everybody's kind of in that category of doing something for others that for some reason, well, It's obviously a master plan of some kind, but it's this movement of a lot of people that have never had money before potentially having a lot of money. And even if half of those people do the right thing with it, I shouldn't say the right thing, the dreams in which they're trying to do with it, think how much better the world's going to be. Just think of the pluses involved in that. It's pretty overwhelming, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't dare pet the cat right now because she's in one of those moods that it's like,
once you start,
you could
like a
pet me a
can of
couple
Pringles,
times.
Yeah.
But if you ever consider stopping, it might not go well for you. Yeah.
And there'll be the rear end and a cat tail just right in the cat's screen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best not to encourage it with this cat. Yeah. She's an awesome cat, by the way. But
is it Shorty?
No, this is BG.
Oh, it's Beach. Nice.
It's Beach.
Uh-huh.
It's the Beach.
Oh, it's happened. There. Hi.
Uh-huh.
Hi, buddy.
She's a rare female orange tabby. Vet told me that's rare. I was like, okay, all right. Most tabbies are males, I guess. Whatever that, that's the extent of my cat knowledge. Actually.
Yeah. A fine animal.
She's amazing. Deep end of the pool for dear old dad.
She's funny. Because all the tabbies I've known are humongous, and she's not. Yeah. She's just the runt, and but she's still just this amazing little hunter outside.
Oh, she's got game. She has more game than any cat we have. Pure hunting. That's her whole thing. And occasionally puts up with humans.
Woodpeckers beware.
Right. Gosh, we got all kinds of people in the chat today. That's awesome. Brent.
Cat. Yes, sir.
Did you happen to catch my video the other night? Man, P, that triggered a lot of people. Woo.
I have not seen that yet.
The Thursday night live I did.
Weren't you gonna do it with Jimmy? And
I was gonna do it with Jimmy.
You guys are gonna push it.
And he was on the East Coast, and he was in meetings all day, and he's like, "Oh man, Alan, I'm starving. I want to go out to dinner." And I was like, "Go, man," because he had sent me these 10 documents, and I was like, there's no way no way. I just couldn't. I was on the phone all day, and there was no way I was going to be able to even read through them. I've read through them since. Whew. Yeah. You might want to tune in this Thursday. That's going to be epic. If you were an XRP, if you're a holder, in particular, if you've held XRP, I won't even say prior to the trial, but I'm going to say in particular prior to the trial. Yeah, you're going to want to know about what's going on this Thursday night. It was pretty overwhelming, the factual documentation and stuff that he had that banks are currently, let me put it like this. I can't summarize 30 pages, but what I can do is I can say banks are in a position to where I don't want to touch any of that yet. It's not for us. We really, really like it. We really want to use it. We need to upgrade. We know we need the upgrade. We're pretty sure that's the upgrade we're going to use. However, we can't. And it implies in a way that there's a higher level of banking cartel, if you will, that are saying, don't you dare go down that road. Because if you do, we're going to cut you off, and we're going to do, it's this war at the top that's happening of the banking institutions. But it really implies that and documents a lot of exactly that, painted in rough terms.
What a
So I think
what a
with this
spot
new
to be
government,
in.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
What a spot to be in if that is your business. Say you're opening up a smaller chain of banks, or that's your now you got to play musical chairs,
Yeah,
and you don't know when the music's going to stop, and you got to grab a chair. And it's like, what's that timing? And you made me think about, Dad, like a lot of people that we've talked to that work in bigger companies all their companies are looking into it. They're preparing. Um, we're not just talking about this stuff because it's like, oh well, we think we might be able to buy some more pizzas with it someday. It's gonna be
yeah,
great. It's like the markets. It's infiltrating all of the markets, and it always feels like with crypto, it's like this thing's like still getting up to speed and still building, but it's what you're talking about. It's like somewhere in the line in the chain of banking and all of that between us and our money, our wealth, is somebody
yeah,
saying it's the not yet or not right now, and
yeah,
that's why I've kind of always wanted to be that voice and proponent of us using it ourselves and doing it ourselves. I think that's why you make a system like this. It's not so that you can use this brand new system and run it like the old legacy one necessarily. They're very different things.
yeah.
Uh,
Very.
and to that point, I think. What do you think on this, Dad? I think they're going to have to run in tandem together, maybe forever. But the adoption versus, like, do they always just kind of run with each other? Um, thinking
Yeah,
of like currencies and like things that we need to use to interact with our government and with each other, and um, I wonder.
I think you're right. It's going to have to. You're going to have both styles for quite some time,
Hmm.
and it's going to be nation to nation in a lot of different ways. Um, Obviously, that's the forte of Ripple, is to connect all those different styles of system banking styles and put it together, and then have it land in the other continent and be cool because it's in their parameter now. So
Okay.
there's so much. You and I and everybody in this chat knows the world needs what Ripple's trying to deliver.
Hmm.
The world needs it. And it's not like it doesn't have a use case. It's not like there isn't going to be demand. It's not like the old system isn't completely archaic. I mean, I went into that Thursday night about Cobalt. Everything runs on Cobalt right now. And most people under my age don't even know what Cobalt is. Like we used to run Cobalt when I had a Commodore 64. Like literally, that's what we used.
Yeah.
And like you can't even find you can't find anybody to even work on it who isn't 70. And that's a fact. Like nobody even knows what it is. Like it's such a relic. But the whole thing is kind of simple that way, because that in that sense it's like, well, we got to stay together and this whole thing. But I really believe what efficiency is going to prove. Oh, there's the cat climbing up the bookshelf in the background there. There she is. This new team, and I'm gonna call it a team, is really kicking in a lot of those doors and just saying, no, okay, I understand why you're against this, but this is going to work better for the people if we do it like this, correct? Show me that that's not correct, and we'll continue to use what you have. But if you can't prove that this new thing isn't way better for all my citizens, then I'm not interested in your old toy. We want new, better, more efficient for my citizens. And to the extent, like one of the biggest questions I get a lot of is, well, Alan, do I still need a trust if there's no capital gains tax? Because it does looks like, I believe it was Eric was talking about, Trump was talking over the weekend in Dubai about it. And he was talking about how my dad's trying to get rid of capital gains tax for American-based or neutral, being Bitcoin, based crypto if you hold them. So you won't have to pay capital gains tax. And I'm like, that's fantastic. What that, if I can go down that road for a minute, what that means is, well, let's say you have to pay capital gains tax on stocks, on real estate, on all these other investments, but you don't on crypto. And crypto is the one that's exponentially going up. And the more people that go in, the more up we get. Like, this is a perpetual flywheel effect of profits that could just go ballistic, maybe too hot, too fast, which wouldn't be good as well.
Right.
But it does sort of bring in the whole, concept of super cycle in a lot of different ways. But like, there's, as I talk about on my Thursday night show, so I won't get into it tonight or this morning, but I will remind everybody that avoiding taxation is not the only reason to have a trust. I'll just put it like that. There's two other really good reasons to have a trust. But one of them is for family and the generational wealth and the passing along. But the other one is for passive income. And that's really where we're going. We're going not just staking, not just AMM, not just DAOs, not just stablecoin. If you hold your wealth in stablecoin, they're going to pay you an interest rate. But yes, all of those too. Somebody sent me an article that I was reading last week, and it was really fascinating about what Cardano is trying to do with Bitcoin. And it's essentially, Cardano wants to play layer 2 in a sense that you could actually hold, let's say hypothetically, your Bitcoin goes to $1 million. You could hold it on their platform and you would gain anywhere between, they're currently at 8%. Okay. So 8%, what is that? It's like 80,000 a year, right? So you're making 80 grand a year for every $1 million worth of crypto you own. Completely safe, completely secure. You didn't give anything away. You control your entire wallet. Like, that's all. And that's very conservative, right?
There's your retirement right there.
And that's a million reasons right there not to sell your coins on top of it. So to even create a taxable event. So if you're not going to sell your coins, you want to keep your coins out of Brent Staples' name. You want to keep them in the trust name.
Yeah.
For all sorts of different reasons. But
yeah. And also, you brought up good ones, and liability. You just never know what's going to happen. Is one event going to clean you out? One mistake, one wrong person crossed, one, you just never know.
No.
Happens to people all day long. And so that's the other, it's protection.
That's right. Security. Yeah.
It's
important.
Cheryl had a great question. And this is starting to come up for me a lot in conversation too. When it comes time to leverage some of my XRP, I will say sell too, right? The dollar amount will be high. Will the exchanges be able to really handle the size of liquidity we will be taking out? I don't mean right now. Great question, Cheryl. I'll leave that up. And that's why Joanna responded, down. We were really kind of interested in, we talk about, and we want to do more with Caleb and Brown, because that's a exchange that we, like, our family's going to trust, like us personally are going to trust to try to, okay, I got this number programmed in there. I got this stop loss. Okay, this is when I want to sell it. And those guys over there guarantee it, which is huge.
Yeah.
That's a lot different. For anybody new to crypto, it's a lot different when you're on all the other exchanges. Like, all of a sudden, you just can't get into your account. You can't get anything done. I can count on two hands how many times that's happened to me. So
yeah,
it's a great question, and it's something that we all need to look into and have those little exit strategies like you talk about, Dad.
Yeah. The conservative answer, or the generic answer, is Caleb and Brown, obviously. The secondary answer to that is not judged by their previous track record. I would say no, you're not going to be able to get that instant liquidity to get out the exact price that you want. However, I really think that things are going to change. So now I'm going to go the conspiratorial answer, if you will. And that goes something along these lines. The new team coming in, new regime, wants to do basically everything the opposite of the way the old regime did. And since we know there was a lot of connections between FTX and the previous party involved, we know that they had a heavy hand in a lot of things. In particular, right before FTX went down, they were the ones leading the charge for regulations right before they went down. So that implies that they absolutely weren't planning to regulate themselves. They were it was all talk. Because here they're talking about, oh, we need more regulations in the industry, when they were the biggest abuser of the regulations and got caught doing it. So you're like, whoa, wait a minute. They must have had backing from somebody in the system, if you will. So I'm going to say, no, you're not going to have problems with these exchanges in the future, because I know that, what's his name? Coinbase, Brian, right? Armstrong? No. What is his last name? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about, the CEO of Coinbase. He already had a meeting with this whole new group, and more than one of them. And I'm going to, again, use a little tinfoil on top of my head here real quick. I'm implying that the previous SEC director and many other people actually had a heavy hand on what they were doing at Coinbase, and said, oh no, hey, we want to make sure that this doesn't go well. So we're going to go ahead and tell you to slow down on exit strategies. We're going to stop you. Oh, this thing's going up too fast. Stop, close your market. Because it's really hard for me to believe that an exchange that didn't even reach the volumes that it reached in 2017, that they would have execution problems. Like, they've gotten better at this, haven't they? Like, somebody kicked the plug, is what I'm trying to tell everybody. That was an intentional stoppage in the market. Right. My opinion. I don't know. I can't prove it. But it gave everybody that doubt, that uncertainty. Oh, is crypto rigged? Is it this? Is it a problem? Is it all these? I got news for you. Wall Street denied liquidity being pumped into the market to prop up the losers for a decade. We accused them of it for a decade.
Mhm.
You're propping these things up. Every time it starts to dive, you shut the market off. Like we already know the MO. They did it for decades now. Oh, the market's crashing. Stop trading. We already know they do that. So of course, when he wanted to become, when he wanted to go public and he did his IPO, he signed the deal with the system, and that gave them control over some of his mechanisms. This man's opinion. I don't know for sure. Do I think all of that could go away? I think it could. We have to remember one of the only free, true markets that the world has is Bitcoin or crypto, because there's no plunge protection team.
Right.
That's why it's volatile. That's why it goes up so much and down so much. It's like, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? Well, it's not being propped up by bankers or the banking system in that sense. So volatility is what you really want, believe it or not. Yeah.
And
anyway, I think.
the system, the blockchain, the system itself works very, very well. Permissionless. So open border payment trade system. It worked very well. I've used it myself. So what's really the issue? What's the problem? When the question that we're all discussing with exchanges is it's that there's a fail point. There's a point where you're playing money game. You're playing I want to sell XRP right now for some greenbacks. Oh, it can't make it happen. And it's coming in the chat like Muddy's saying that he can't get Caleb and Brown in the UK. If anybody else has any other ones, or Muddy, if you got one that you're keen on, what are more exits? And the point came up too, such a good one is never have just one. Have redundancies and fail safes in your plan. And I forgot that. It's like we kind of narrow. We're like, okay, this is exactly how it's going to get done, and it's like, well, they might shut it down that day. That the markets might be going up too high or going down too fast. To your dad. But yeah, we gotta we bond together and figure out those other avenues. For people like Muddy, and I know we talk a lot with like Northern about the different things that you can do as a Canadian, and we're trying to get up to speed and learn on what everybody's gonna do wherever you're at. We're here for that. We want to talk about it. I really want to learn about all of that. This is a global network system. Like our channel is a global channel. People from all over the world watch. It's not just Americans that we know personally. It's like, no, globe.
24-hour market.
And those systems are great. But it's, how the question of how we're all going to liquidate and what that's going to look like. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So I was also thinking that it's also relative, right? I mean, if price go up, those exchanges become rich, right? Depending on how they have it on their books, or if they really have it, or things like that. But I don't know. We will see. But redundancies, let's have a plan B,
Yeah. Well, there's so many different things they can do to be supportive of a network and slow down the growth of a network. And we know that to be a fact because let's see, Mr. Trump was in office when the bubble popped, in particular with Bitcoin. and whatever it was, December 17th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Not that I, you know, feel bad about that time or recall it at all. Um, it
December
was, yeah,
17th.
pretty sure that was the day. They created a futures market to stop the growth of Bitcoin. And they did it intentionally. And it passed unanimously in like 24 hours. Okay, let's do this thing. And let's not forget, Trump was involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, 2 or 3 people came out and admitted it. So it's not like that's not a tinfoil hat thing. That's what happened. They intentionally shut it down. Well, okay, but now he's flipped on that. So that tells me he can now maybe clear the path and make sure nobody's doing that control thing that everybody else that he knows they're empowered to do. I'm just guessing. I'm hoping that's the case. We don't know for sure. I don't know really what the man's intentions are. Seems like I know what his intentions are, but I don't really know. I don't know why he would allow his son to travel around the world talking so highly about Bitcoin and crypto if he was just going to make a clown out of his son. I don't see him.
Hopefully
I don't see him doing that. Yeah. Plus, he's buying. I already know. I've had this confirmed by more than one people. I haven't heard anybody else on the internet talking about it, but he's trying to buy the BKKT exchange.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to buy that. I know he bought a ton of Ethereum, him personally. So when you add it all up, he really sees the future of crypto, and he wants to prosper from it, but he really wants the US to prosper. In other words, if you're giving tax advantages, that was the beauty of what El Salvador did. By the way, that's exactly where they got all this from. El Salvador said, hey, you know what? If you're a crypto company, you could come here and you're tax free. You're tax exempt. We're not even going to tax you. You can make millions of dollars right here. We'll even help you with your power, because they have like endless, geothermal power and hydro and everything else. So they're like, well, we'll even help you out with all that stuff. So that was a huge success and is still today a huge success. And other countries around the world are not lost on that. They're just not. But I never thought, I need to get into this because it's stuff that I really was going to do a video about this week, and it's really important to talk about. So doing it twice is okay. Mm-hmm. This whole concept that America's now all of a sudden out in the leading edge is so big that none of us can understand that. You can't understand that when a network adoption occurs, it's sort of like what Henry Ford did. It's like he networked the automobile. Mm-hmm. And because it happened in one of the most industrial nations in the world, it blew up around the world. So when you put it in those kind of terms, and then you look at it and it's a banking thing, and banks and institutions are looking for profit right now. They can't find it anywhere. So they're like, wow, look at this Michael Saylor guy. And then we're looking over here at El Salvador, and Senor Bukele is just crushing it. And we're like, well, we could do that. This is we've been talking about this for 3 years on this channel. So this is really big, and it's happening now. And it's impossible for us because we live our lives in the past 5 years. We can't exponentially understand what that could mean. We just can't. Mm-hmm. Can't wrap your mind around how big this could possibly be. And I don't see any reason to come out and go against it. Like what does a nation gain from that? I mean, the only ones that are against it, and I'm not trying to bag on them, but like the European Union are like taxing the pants off of everybody with crypto right now. And it's all come out in the last couple of weeks. Like, we're going to get out ahead of this Trump thing. We're going to beat him in his own game. We're just going to penalize those people for making money. And it's like, why don't you just point a spotlight on yourself and say, I really don't care for the little guy much. Why don't you just do that? Like, I hate all of you who are making money and prospering in this world today. It's, we want to take it all from you.
The people I know that are buried in that trench right now are talking about regulations. The word regulations is coming out of their mouths. Regulations. Crazy. Like people like you and me, like just talking to you bring up crypto, regulations. We need to, there needs to be sanctions, there needs to be, and it's like, if we gotta use the system, if we gotta use the man, if we're gonna keep using big government here with each other, I at least need people who are open-minded about all of it, especially a system that potentially is better, faster, and more efficient. Period.
Yeah.
Period. And so, when it's like, do you even know the big picture? I had this chat recently. I want to know your thoughts, Dad. I was talking to one of my best friends who works in banking, and we're always kind of challenging each other in the chat, but not challenging in a way of like, it's just, okay, let's big picture. Let me talk about everything that you know. I'll talk about everything that we know, and we'll just try to fit it together. How does banking fit together with this? I was just reading 1.9 billion people on the planet still can't get a bank account. And that's for a multitude of reasons, right? There's not banks in there.
It's higher than that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I read. So let's just say a quarter of all people on Earth can't get a bank account. Well, why is that important? Because there are global trading networks that you can speculate on or buy into to where you can raise your own situation. And because of a government telling you no, or a bank not being available, or a bank not being allowed by said government to work with you inside of your own country, that's an opportunity lost for that many people. And this is the kind of thing and system why we've talked about this particular subject for 3 years. It is because it's as easy as having this. You don't need bank. You don't need computer. You don't it's getting simple enough to be right here for everybody. So, and yes, not everybody has cell phones or can get a cell phone, but you can try to close the gap by making all of that more efficient and more available to people.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I try to convey. What are your thoughts on that, Dad?
Well, what was her opinion on that?
I mean, she listens, but also she's like, well, this is what I see and where I'm working and what's going on in this. And this is like, she'll explain to me kind of the, I forget the groups and the terms because I'm not a banking expert, but these are the roadblocks and the thoughts, the philosophies and mentalities of kind of the old system and the way that things have been done for thousands of years. And then, I'm sitting there trying to extrapolate and expand on a revolutionary technology in all of it. That is, once you figure out how simple it can be, it starts to make a lot of sense. Once you make crypto simple in your mind, that's when the light bulb goes off. And so that's we're both, it's like I get to learn banking and how that's going to fit together somehow. But that's why I wanted to ask you, is because you understand more about that than I do.
Well, I I think ease of use is really important going forward. It has to be stupid easy. Like I say, it should be like sending a text, which there's many out there like Cash Apps, pretty easy. I mean, I don't know how much easier you can get than that. But that for number one. But we have a intentionally or not trying to wear the foil hat again, but cybersecurity is weak at best. It's just terrible. Like these password thing that we're dealing with is just, I'm sorry, it's not working. It's just not even remotely secure at all. And so until we can get the confidence of everybody, every human being on their phone being confident to keep their money there, I mean, and again, that goes back to your uncertainty. You know, they don't want it to go that way, so they keep it that way. And I'm just telling you, there's three-letter agencies behind a lot of this stuff. Just if okay, if it was as important to the Pentagon, cybersecurity for all its citizens, it would have happened already.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And evidently it's not. Either they want it to happen or it's not, or they don't care. It's one or the other. Like you can't say both, right? Yeah.
There's things high priorities set on surveillance and other things that are in that middle of like, well, don't want to make it too secure. I need to be able to get in there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things
that door, I won't be able to open the door up.
Yeah. One of the things that proved all that to me, it's just right in your face in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you've heard about all this drone stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It's mostly in the East Coast, but these drones are flying over everybody's house. Well, the federal government's answer is, yeah, well, we're thinking about working on it. We're not so sure. There's hundreds of them. One of them landed on an airport and they couldn't take off. And like the FAA, if you and I had been that guy with a drone, we'd be dead on the runway and hauled off. Like, what do you mean you're working on it? Like,
what is going on?
We'll get around to that. Yeah. And then it's like, and then they're having congressional hearings about raising the budget on we need more money to fight against drone stuff. And it's like, dude, you get $1 trillion a year in defense. Maybe it shouldn't be in, I don't know, Afghanistan. It should maybe be in, I don't know, New Jersey, maybe is a place that you guys might have spent $1 trillion of that dollar on trying to figure out what the drone over our head is doing. Like the priority is completely off in so many different ways, but they'll use it to like control. And one of the scariest things, people sent it to me as if, wow, look how cool what Brad Garlinghouse said. Now, I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but just hear me out. Brad Garlinghouse is like, well, we need regulations globally for crypto. And I was like, okay, you sent that to me thinking I would think that was a good idea? Like, well, wait a minute. First of all, let me explain the simplicity of crypto to you one more time. I don't need anybody between Brent and I in crypto. Nobody. That's what crypto is. You don't need a bank account for crypto. You don't need any of that for anybody. So why are you allowing them to wedge everybody in the world into one avenue of control? Why would you do that? The beauty of this planet is that we have hundreds of different languages, hundreds of different ways of doing things. That's called capitalism. And it's created that way for a competitive edge. When you take all of that away, you have this centralized system, which is completely what we're trying to avoid. It's called decentralization for a reason. You don't want a centralized panel committee oh, we're doing it for everybody in crypto's best interest. Look, I love Brad Garlinghouse. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to throw the man under a bus. You think it's a good idea for one committee or one group to rule the world in anything? I don't care if it's picking up dog feces. You don't want that ever. No. That's not freedom. And I don't care how humanitarian and benevolent you think the committee is. That just means all they got to do is corrupt that group, and then we're all done for. Mm-hmm. That's just how I look at that. And it's not it. And that's the scariest part about blockchain. Once you're on that block, you're in there, and it's, there's no change in the old block. That's now fact. Okay. And we've got to be very diligent about keeping our freedoms going forward for every country, for every human being. This is why we're here. We're not here to, create one utopia for everybody to think sane. No, man, that's not. I'm not down with that at all. And I know a lot of people are, and a lot of people who have big crypto shows are, and I get it. Mm-hmm. And I understand why they're that way. They think a lot of people. They think if it's done correctly and the system is honest, that we'll be fine with it. And that's really, man, I'm the baby boomer here. I'm the guy that should be thinking like that, and I don't. You cannot trust those people. They've proven 1,000 times over that your interest is not their interest. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if every time in my mind where I've tried to go super duper idealistic, utopian, like say we all got together and made a crew coin. In my humble opinion, there wouldn't be a company attached to it. It would be how do we create this thing? How do we create enough supply? How do we hit go on sending it to everyone? That would be, in terms of that, would be a huge quantum super jump of like, okay, we're all just going to use this together, take it or leave it, big government or everybody else. Like, sorry, we don't want a company or super investors or people that we don't even know dictating the terms because they have more of it than we do. Yeah, that's the kind of what you're talking about, Dad, is that gray area of blockchain that they're like, to Brad's credit and to the credit of these companies and these people who have built blockchain and do try to create these systems for us, they've had to plunge their hands into the muck of this old legacy system to try to just get this thing off the ground. And you're reminding me of all that, Dad. It's like it is a conversation. It's not me now arguing with somebody that's talking to me about it like, well, it needs to be regulated, Brent, and all this and this and that. It's like, well, yeah, we got to look at that too. Maybe there are applications and parameters that we personally get to help set, so these things don't run amok like they have in the past. People could figure out how to run amok on even this thing.
Yeah, but people have always run amok.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin didn't run amok.
No.
Yeah, that's not what happened. Right. Like it's really hard for the system to understand that somebody's come along and created something way better than management. Mm-hmm. When you manage something, somebody has an avenue to say, well, I know what's best for the people around me or below me. No, man, no, you're missing the whole point by trying to manage the genie out of the bottle.
Right.
No, this is the genie that the system needs for freedom. Freedom to screw up, freedom to rip people off, all of that. As soon as they start telling you, well, these Sam Bankman guys, we got to control all that and make sure that you never lose a dime, little citizen, patting you on the head. Bull. That's always been their avenue for more control. Always. And we don't, it does, it's like when I hear MasterCard go, oh, we're going to get into the crypto space. It's like, well, we don't need MasterCard. Why do we need you to be in the space? Like, okay, it's cool that we're able to spend money through MasterCard, but we don't need you in crypto. We don't need you there. Like, what are you going to do for us? Well, we're an exchange. Well, I don't need an exchange between Brent and I don't need you. I need your management. I don't need your crazy ideas or any of the rest of it. All I need is a wallet, and he needs a wallet, and bingo. That's all we need, right?
Yeah.
You're a purchase point thing. If I'm going to buy a pair of tennis shoes, okay, great, cool. Then I need you, but not until then, right? I don't need you to play bank. I don't need you to tell me the way I can and cannot purchase. Yeah, is another one.
Yeah.
Or sharing wealth with each other.
And the one I was, talking about with my banking friend was accountability. Take the most honest, accurate, best accountant you've ever known. It's 1,000 times more perfect than the job that they can do.
That's right.
And then how can we use that philosophically and as users of it?
That's right.
To understand that. That's all you have to do is understand it. Like you're saying, Dad, Bitcoin didn't do anything wrong. They're not. No. It's not in the gray area. It's in the quantum leap area.
Right.
But these big corporations and all this that's coming out, they're acquiring it or putting it on their books so that they can repackage it and resell it. And that's always been happening as well. And so is Alan and Brent going to use it together? It's a question I've asked on this channel for 3 years. Are we going to get to a point with each other where Alan and Brent is using this thing? Where we're watching our, the El Salvador videos and we're inspired. It was our second show I think we ever did. It was like, dude, they're doing it. Their government's hip on it. They're in with it. Let's try it. We see it. We see it's going like this. We see it's appreciating.
Yeah.
And we get a chance to be innovators and do it first. Be there, run through the wall first. Yeah, you get bloodied, but at least you are starting the process of working it out. And so I think the question I'd love to ask everybody tuning in from everywhere, it's like, where's your country at with it? How hip are they to it? What are the companies inside of your country that are innovating to try to make it easier and simpler and better to have me and Dad trade with each other? No middleman.
Yeah. Freedom, freedom to make mistakes. Baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very, there's a lot going on right now, a lot of moving parts, obviously, but I think some countries are really telling you what they think of you as a citizen. And some countries are trying to help their people, and some countries just like the way it is. In other words, we up here take care of us up here, and you folks down there deal with whatever we tell you is going to happen next. And the countries that are going to look forward and take care of their people are going to give them more crypto freedoms. because there's never been, like you were just saying, my favorite analogy, crypto, exchanging crypto and dealing in a crypto world is like playing poker with all the cards up. It's open source. I can see what everybody has. I know it ruins a poker game, but my point is, when you're playing that game and you know all the moving parts and you can see all the moving parts, and there's no middleman who's got hit. Essentially what we have now is 4 of the people at the table have their cards up. One person, the banking system, has their cards down. And not only do they have their cards down, they get to have, well, with fractional reserve banking, they get to have more cards than we do. They get to say, oh, I have $1,000. That means I have 10,000. I get 10,000. What? Wait a minute. What? How do I get to be Alan fractional reserve guy? How do I get to say I have 10 times more dollars than I do? Like who came up with that other than a banker? and who passed it?
Oh yeah, exactly.
And who voted on it? Like, how do you guys get away with that? I mean, it's bad enough you print money, but now you have to say that I have 10 times more money than I have. Like, that honesty.
33 times more with some of the banks in the bubble. 33 times more.
And you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, this system, this open source, is not going to go well for them. Clearly. Yeah. And clearly they support people that rally against crypto. Elizabeth Warren and many other people. And by the way, those people, I can't even believe how they're going to be able. I don't even know how she won that election, first of all, but there was a better candidate. But for number one, but for number two, these people are going to start falling by the wayside. They're going to look ridiculous. And because it's going to be very obvious through code, not that the middleman is the problem. I've been saying this a long time. AI is going to, unless AI is completely corrupted, which thank God, I believe there's people out there putting out honest AI, it's going to point to the problem. It's going to say, well, everything's working really pretty good considering you're all just a bunch of humans over here, but there's one glaring problem you have. And it's somewhere around Washington and your nation, Alan. And it's like this problem. Like if you just got rid of like half of that and got it managed better, you all would probably have to work half as hard.
Yeah.
And that's coming. I mean, they've been, what's the common term for Wall Street? They produce nothing. They create nothing. They make nothing. They make money off of fake money. So there's nothing real about it,
It's a fugazi. It's a wazi. Yeah. It's a woozy. It's
a Ponzi.
It's nothing. Yeah. It's fairy dust. It's no matter.
That's right. Yeah. I could have wrote the movie.
Well, what was that? What was that quote? Inside Job, still my favorite economics movie ever.
Inside Job.
Understanding the bubble is really understanding like what you're getting at. To me, Dad, it's you can't trust them. Why advocate? Why support? Why buy? Why invest in blockchain? It is because one day it clicked inside my head personally where I'm like, I don't trust the other people's plans that have been carrying out plans for a very, very long time. Like I just don't. I don't. They haven't given me reason to hand all that trust over. And I think it's our job as citizens of the world, all of us, to hold those types of people accountable who are given that kind of opportunity and power and can change rules so that they can leverage 10 times more of what they have than you can. There has to be accountability. So why do you use a system like this? It's to try to hopefully move that needle back to reality, people.
Yeah. They have to earn it back, though. I know a lot of people are like just freely handing it to Trump and the team he's created. And I agree, the team he's created. Mm-hmm. Like I never really, to be quite honest, 10 years ago, I didn't know anything about Elon Musk. I really didn't. And about 5 years ago, I didn't really care much for what he was doing. It didn't really interest me much. But in the last pretty much since, that little episode we had in 2020, pretty much since then, I've been like, hey, this guy kind of gets it. Like, wow, that guy, he's really come around. Or maybe I just wasn't aware of what he really believed in. But it seemed to me like he did a 180 for the people. And I think there's I could be totally wrong about the guy. I don't really know. Yeah. But proof is in the fact that he says, oh, I'm going to buy Twitter and then I'm going to make it free speech. And that told me a lot,
Yeah.
Because despite whether or not you like Trump or not, Twitter banning him is just, it's a level of like SS. You know what I mean? That's like Gestapo stuff. You don't, what? Why would you ban anybody? I mean, unless the guy's a mass murderer, he's in prison, but you don't ban anybody. I mean, because he's speaking his mind. It's like, well, we don't want to hear from the president. We'll just shut him off. It's like, well, okay, now you've decided, you've told us who you are. Yeah. I mean, if you'll do that to him, what do you think of me? Not much.
Not much.
Not much is the answer to that.
And the people that you're bringing up, Dad, and this group that's about to come in here is like, yeah, I want to hold them accountable. I might be happy about some of the things. There's a lot of things that I have many questions, and I have great concerns, and I've had it for a long time now, every single cabinet that has existed in my home here, my backyard, my government. Like, I have not done a good enough job understanding more and being more accountable for the people around me to try to hold these people in question and to try to do the things like we're all doing here to try to make a new run at a big leap for people, big step forward. Regardless of whether they're involved in it or not. We can use this now together.
Yeah.
Dad, I really like your tractor. I think your tractor's sexy, man. How about I give you some XRP for it?
Yeah.
Done. We're done. And it is that simple.
It is.
There is also all the gray area in it, which I think we're touching on a lot of it, and it's going to play out. The gray area will always exist in everything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
we continue to run.
And Becky just brought up a good point. A lot of young people really praise socialism. I don't have a problem with socialism. I really don't. I think you don't want everything to be one way or the other. You want everybody to think their own thoughts and their own freedoms. I don't have a problem with any kid today that wants socialism. Growing up in the world today, I can see the allure of it for sure. I totally see that. It's not fair. All those people have stuff I don't have, that whole, and I get it, I really do. It's not how winners succeed though. You don't win by everybody splits the pie, everybody gets a ribbon. it's not how nature works, and it's not how you have diversity. You can't.
Yeah.
You need everybody to be different, and I appreciate everybody's differences. So if they want to be socialist, good for them. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
get it, but they have to win our praise back, guys. Don't just give them your heart and soul, because they'll probably run it through the mud. But
Mhm.
I do think, I love the fact that he's hiring billionaires to turn around a system who don't want any money, who don't want to profit from it, and they're getting into areas that they don't even have a business in. And I don't know if you guys saw this the other day, but Howard from gosh, Cantor Fitzgerald just resigned. He's not going to be the CEO of the company anymore. And he's been there for, I don't know, 40 years, something like that. And 30, 40 years. He's like, no, I'm stepping down. This is more important to me. And he's going to run commerce. If you guys don't know what the head of commerce for America does, that's the guy you want in that job. His whole idea, his business profile, if you guys don't know who this man is, you should really look him up. His business profile is, I work for all the employees. I'm the CEO, but the employees are my boss. The guy mastered it. The guy mastered that philosophy. And it's the number one company to work for in Wall Street, like, period, because of that. It's like, no, I have to answer to those people, right? That's his whole philosophy in business. Not like, oh, I'm God up here and everybody does what I tell them to do, whether it makes business sense or makes them happy or not. He's the exact opposite. That's the guy you want running commerce. And he understands crypto, which is huge. It's big, guys. That's really big. People were bummed originally that he wasn't going to be head of the SEC. He has less power there. The SEC just regulates, what's going on in Wall Street. Head of commerce is like, if you ask me, that's the best job in Washington, if you ask me.
Wow.
Because he gets to create all the small companies, all the little businesses, and promote them and give them the funding and stop taking the funding from Boeing, okay, and put it down in the ma and pa's and all the communities around America. And that's exactly what that man's going to do. It's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be. Now, again, we have to hold him to that standard. We can't lose track of this. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Encourage him to run with that, to expand, to help us innovate, to help us evolve. That was going to be kind of my point to piggyback on when you're talking about socialism, Dad. It's like, it's good to spread it out, right? But can you trust the centralized party that's spreading it out? And that's always been a big question mark, right? I'm sure a lot of other people know a lot more about that than I do. But are we expanding with this? Is this helping us grow? And the one with media pops in there where it's so fun to look at all these these people who do want to be in it and they want to try and they come out and they're saying good things and they're hopefully going to do a good job. I'm done with the hate, Dad. I'm done. I really love how you put it. It's why I don't watch the news. It's why I'm not big voter guy. I don't want to turn it on and just be told to hate completely. anything. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't. I get the frustration, and I get that people want to grow and change, and we all have different views and takes. And that's why it's like when you stop and listen to other people and what they're giving you, it's usually pretty good. That I
Yeah.
think a lot of people on this world really try. And I think it's why I love people so much. It's like, man,
Right.
I see them trying, like I'm trying. And it's just that's a ton of what I've been writing about lately. Just free writing. It's just how to if you can take that away, if you can take the total hate, the total my idea is right, your idea is wrong, and
Right.
you can go open-minded, you can go big picture, you can co-create, build bridges with anybody, your neighbor, your brother,
Mhm.
your sister, your dad, your friends,
Yeah.
the crew. You you are in the place where you can start to see the whole and how we could all work together to do whatever we wanted to do. Use whatever kind of system we want to use. That's the power that
Right.
we all hold together.
Yeah.
And these, looking and worshiping and praising all this big power and letting them control everything that happens, and you're the last to know, it is really it's old, man. But I'm
It
not
is.
gonna
Yeah.
hate it. I'm gonna work with it. A lot of people do like that. Um,
Yeah. They do.
so I'll
Yeah.
stay open minded about it, and I will
Yeah.
work on that. I'll work in the gray area forever in this life, so that I can co-create with people. Um, with stuff like this, with what we do forward and opportunities we try to create for each other, but also just as a person that just wants to love other people and wants to be loved. Um, that was the big one I wanted to share today. It's like um, I'm better than lucky. Everybody, I like a lucky wasn't enough to say that
Yeah.
to want to see more for the whole, for each person, and do it how they want to do it, and less of how Brent wants to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
excites me. It's why I call people back on the phone, and I go hang out with people, and I go to meetups, and we started a channel. And
Yeah.
you're the exciting part of this world, all of you.
Yeah. For sure.
Everybody's listening, all 120 people in here. You, Dad, you excite me about what we can create and this
Yeah.
world. And I'm not going to sit around and let it get so big and complicated. And no, I'm going to adopt simple systems. I'm going to try to invest wisely. And I'm going to try to do the things that will put all myself and then hopefully people around me in better position. That's worth fighting for. That's worth getting up early and working hard for. It's not to just go and make a buck and put it in my bank anymore.
Yeah.
Those days are kind of done for you and I, Dad. Those are.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm so happy about it to be able to talk to my old man on the phone, and we're just excited about opportunities that we're hopefully going to get to bring in and attract and give to all of you if we can,
Yeah.
um,
So
you go.
well put. That's really where we are, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
It's a pretty sweet spot.
It's I I heard somebody say this the other day, and I reflected back and I thought, you know what, it's absolutely true. The man said, my kids are my single greatest achievement. And as soon as he said it, I was like, boom. Hello. I was like, there's nothing more important than the creation of you, Brent, in my life. There's been nothing I haven't split any atoms, and I don't even think that's as important. Our children and our offspring are, we think, oh yeah, well, we just, we made a baby and they grew up to be a kid and person just like us. It's like, well, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that in the sense that everything you are within you, okay, becomes this other person. But it's really up to you to teach and nurture this person or give an example. And that's really the best thing we can be, is an example. So you get to do that over 38 years, right? Of a person's life. You get to be the example of somebody. So when somebody says they're my greatest achievement, I totally related with that, because it's not like I told you to do stuff and you did it and you became a better person. That's bad parenting. That's how people mess this whole thing. Well, you'll do it because I told you to. Well, that's exactly what our government's been doing to people. Right. Instead of allowing them to flourish and showing them how to flourish and giving them the tools to flourish, they say, oh, you can't drive V8s anymore. Well, where's the alternative? What have you given us? What's the incentive to drive something different and, offer it? Well, that's the beauty of being a parent. If you can be the person that says, I don't care who you are, what you become, or what you know, or what you think is right or wrong, that's you. And I love you for who you are, not for what I told you to be. And I had a man over here, he'll never listen to this, but I had a man over here, salute, right? And
here's to you, Dad. Thank you for being that way in my life, by the way.
Oh yeah. Well,
my dad and I played tennis with each other. We've always played tennis with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I got this going on. Dude, what's it about?
Yeah.
Serve it up to me, dude. And then I see it, boom, hit it back. What do you think about that? Well, what about this? Yeah. That's co-creating. It's just being creative. And yeah, like you said, Dad, appreciating your children or all the people around you, like whoever's around you, whoever's in your sphere.
Yeah.
Giving them that, at least that much respect to listen, be open-minded to what they are and what they want.
Stop telling them what to think. Allow them to be themselves. Yeah.
And please don't work against them. Please. Is there any amount of money? Is there any? I was thinking about this. I was up late last night thinking about this one too. You can't pull a U-Haul behind her. No, there's never been a U-Haul behind a hearse, ever. Like one day these bodies of ours will be gone. They'll be dust. And what is it really that matters in life?
Yeah.
A lot of people will say love. A lot of people will say children, their children. It's all those things. We were asking at the beginning of the show today, everybody, what's your goal? What's your vision? What drives you? If you could suspend your career or your job right now, and you can just say to yourself, hey, Nancy, Teresa, Mighty, Evan, you just say to yourself, like, what would I truly enjoy every day? What was I kind of born to do? What am I just naturally good at that I would never get bored studying or working to do? Like creating the job that you want. And I think you all are going to have that kind of opportunity here very soon. Very soon. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what you all pull off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know? So watching you play tennis is is going to be the fun part of this channel.
I got to put this one up here because, I haven't had breakfast yet. So, but
Yeah. Desma, thank you.
yes, please. I'll have
Yes.
some of that, please, on some toast. Aloha spirit. Love it. It's so good. We have so much to share with all of each other, and life is what you make of it. And sometimes I feel lately like I've made myself too busy. I don't get to fish and golf as much as I used to, but who I get to speak with every day and the people that I get to share my lives with, our lives lived, is worth it all. I mean, it's just worth it all. It really is. I'm really enjoying this time in my life. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
We're all blessed. Yeah, it's fun. We're doing a lot of good stuff.
Dad, Road Dog would love to help families in need. I will say the times in my life where I have volunteered to do that, there's no feeling quite like it.
No, I with the help of Becky, we tried to work out something with right. I forgot her first name. That's terrible. I can't remember her name right now. Melody Wright. And she's the lady I had on the channel about a month ago, I guess now. And she's helping all the victims in the Carolinas. And she wanted to come back on the channel. Well, I'd love to have her back on the channel. And we were trying to plan that for today, but it looks like it might be next Sunday. If you and I can come on a little bit later in the day, it looks like we can probably pull that off with her next Sunday and have her on for a while. And, those people in need are just as in need as they've ever been. And they're also colder than they were. Not only did their house wash away with the river took it, now they're cold. So you can imagine what they might need. But yeah.
Melody.
Yeah. Melody, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Melody Wright. And she's fantastic. She has a great channel too, by the way, guys. You should look that up if you're into real estate. Yeah. And it's all about giving. Yeah. That's what it's all about, guys.
Cheryl, thank you for the comments today. Desert Vibes. Now you got to run. Hope you have an awesome day.
We got to run too, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to run too. Let's hit comments. Anybody? Sorry, we really got in the zone there, Dad. On that one, I love it. We'd love to hear from all of you. Any questions? Anything you're thinking about? Any visions for your life? We're here for it. We're here to support it. Just like you've supported us in doing this and fulfilling a dream that my dad and I had. I wrote starting a YouTube channel on my dream board, on my list before I ever heard my dad ever mention it to me. That for us to do it, it was just something that we've wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and we wrote it down on the drive to Texas too.
Yep.
I think I said I wanted a successful channel. I don't know. I would call this very successful in the manner of human being success. It hasn't. I wouldn't call it a financial success, but we haven't really. That's not what we're after, really, is it? So,
Right.
All right, B man. Hit the likes. There was 140 people in here at one time. So hit the likes. It really helps share this.
Yeah, Cody, we got to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Yeah.
You're breaking up.
This is our. Am I?
Ryan. Yeah. Or
Okay,
I am. I can't tell.
okay. We're echoing. It's time. Everybody, I love
Okay,
you.
guys. Until
I,
next time.
I love our time together. Thank you so much.